I feel like One Up would be like a weird half and half thing too, because didn't they use some of your guys' reviews in the magazine, or no?
For what?
For EGM, didn't they use some One Up reviews for that too, or no?
Kind of. It was a weird time.
Yeah, I bet.
It was a weird time.
Video game magazines. Bummer. Bummer.
I agree. Remember when there used to be video game magazines?
I remember when I had subscriptions to multiple video game magazines, when I got Game Fan and Game Pro and EGM. And like, there's all kinds of weird, like EGM 2,
Yeah.
GMR. God, how long, like, that was that like 6 issues? Like, how long did that last? Like, nothing, that's a bummer. An Expert Gamer. All kinds of magazines.
I think Expert Gamer was EGM 2, right? Like it got turned into EGM 2 became bad or vice versa.
Yeah. Something like that, yeah. And then there was like portable only, like game magazines and stuff. Weird times. And Game Fan existed and was like the weirdest magazine ever. Get all your import Saturn reviews from Game Fan magazine.
Physical media, man.
Yeah, Crocbox brings up tips and tricks, or yeah, tips and tricks.
Tips and tricks like just shut down pretty recently.
Game codes in the magazine, y'all. Game codes, period. End of story. Remember that? Remember codes in games? Shh. That you'd have to pay money for? Is this like the old man time now?
Basically.
Password systems, guys. Remember password systems? Who's with me here?
You lost me.
Okay.
When I get 500 more seals.
Who remembers putting the code in on Mortal Kombat on Super Nintendo to turn the blood on? That's what I'm talking about.
I need 500 more seals, and then I think I can rank up in my company. Just a nice little ditty that's playing here.
Ward Verbeck in the chat. This magazine I'm reading gave this game a wow factor of guys' eyes bugging out with crazy hair.
Right?
Yeah, I miss those old reviews. We're like
Zalgar says, going into Ralph's with friends and handwriting the codes so we didn't have to buy the magazines. Yep, I totally fucking did that.
Totally did that
Not
too.
Ralph's, because I don't know what that is, and we didn't have those, but I totally did that.
Yep, all about the Krogers. That's where we did it.
Yeah, Chad Kroger's house.
That was it. Yeah, went over there because he was a rich guy. He bought all the magazine. So, and I was like, Chad, let me borrow this.
Nicola Lane says, "Hey guys, remember video games? Ha ha ha." It's good.
Right now, everything's just interactive entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Sushi X, man. Quarterman. All that. Everyone was Quarterman, right? Like there wasn't a Quarterman.
I don't know for sure, but I think so.
So who was Sushi X then?
I think Sushi X was a specific dude.
Yeah. Okay.
I saw a guy wearing a shirt that said "I'm Sushi X," so I think it was that guy.
Oh, okay. Because for a while I assumed Quarterman was Shane Benhausen.
B-Boy says Shane was Quarterman for a bit. Yeah, I think when I went there, which was, right at the end of EGM, pretty sure Shane was primarily doing Quarterman, but I think it was a thing that, everybody kind of contributed to some degree.
video game mysteries. Secrets.
Final Fantasy XIV is pretty good.
It really is, guys. Good game.
I don't know how you guys feel about it, but it's pretty alright.
I agree. I enjoy it. Oof, Crocvox bring up the Sega Channel. Woo, man. That was the shit back in the day. You know, they almost made that again for Dreamcast. They were doing a partnership with, it was like Sega and like a cable box manufacturer in Europe. We're going to put out a machine that was basically a DVR and a Dreamcast that hooked up to a Sega channel as well as a cable box. It was such a cool idea.
Cool's a word that you could use for that.
I
don't know if it's the word I would use.
Ahead of its time about that.
Sure.
Streaming games, because it had like a broadband plug and like had the ability to like stream games over the internet through your cable box. Like, yeah, it literally is. It's like we'll be able to stream games from our cable box through to Xbox One over to broadband internets, and they were doing this in 2001.
And now everybody who worked on the Dreamcast at Sega is now at Microsoft.
Well, not everyone, but yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Not Petey, but... So now I guess Stephen Elop's in charge of entertainment devices over there?
I don't even know who that is.
The Nokia guy? The guy who left Microsoft to go run Nokia into the ground so that Microsoft could buy them?
Right.
I don't think that's actually the case, but...
Hey, I heard it on the internet from you.
It
so
certainly looks that way if you ignore all the evidence.
Which I will.
Yeah, of course. Because, I mean, you gotta reach your conclusion somehow.
I exist on the internet. I'm gonna ignore the evidence.
Yeah, it makes sense. Which is kind of weird. Like, they appointed that lady to be in charge after Matrick left, and now it's, like, immediately supplanted by Elop.
There's a lot of weird stuff. Like, Microsoft as a whole company, not just the Xbox division, is going through some weird changes right now.
That reorg.
They just hit puberty. They're going through some weird changes.
They're just tired of their stock price being at $40 since 1998. Yeah, Microsoft, it's going to be some weird stuff going on in the future, I feel.
It is, it's going to be an interesting few years for them. See how the Xbox does and how... If Windows 8 picks up and that kind of stuff.
I mean, like, my understanding is their plan is to go heavy consumer product focused.
Yeah.
Which, of course, makes the most sense considering that's their division that makes the least amount of profit, but, you know, whatever. It's better than becoming IBM again. That's what they would turn into, essentially. Just a company that puts out Windows every 3 years and Office every 3 years, and no one cares after that, you know?
Yeah.
Gotta have more Zunes.
We all need a little more Zoom in our lives.
I like the Zune HD. I thought that was a cool device. I like Windows Phone a lot. There's a sentence you don't hear that much.
Not very much at all.
Yeah.
I think Arthur's pretty into Windows Phone.
I'm a big fan. I don't have a Windows Phone because my carrier doesn't have it.
I think there's some really cool shit about Windows Phone, but yeah, it's
I've previously had Windows phones, but I don't have a carrier that supports it, unfortunately.
I should probably clarify. I think the reason I think there's cool shit about Windows Phone is also the reason that I'm pretty okay with having an Android, not an iPhone, which is that I just don't use apps very much. Like,
same for me.
Mobile apps, just I don't use many. If I want to play an iOS game, I've got an iPad, so there's that.
Yeah, I just don't like mobile games for the most part. There are some exceptions. In fact, I just put a new launcher on my Android phone that basically brings it so I could only have 10 apps on the screen at a time. It's like super minimalistic. So it actually works out perfectly. I had to struggle to figure 10 apps to put on the screen. It's kind of sad.
Yeah, I have like maybe 4 or 5 apps on my Android that I use somewhat often.
Yeah, it's like Beyond Pod, the best podcasting app out there. Really good. And then Tapatalk for forum reading. And then Firefox. It's like the main 3. Oh, and then Falcon for Twitter. Which I hear you can't even buy anymore.
I don't even know that it is.
It's just a Twitter app, but since Twitter has that weird like API limit,
Yeah.
they like reached the limit like almost instantly, and now can't sell anymore. So they just took it off the Android store. And it's weird because like every so often it'll be like, "Hey, do you still use this app? Like authenticate with Twitter. Otherwise, we're gonna sell your API slot."
Some love for Beyond Pod going on in the chat.
Oh, Beyond Pod's the best. The best podcasting app. If you listen to any kind of podcast at all, it's fantastic. What the shit? Why is this guy, like, decimating me? Oh, because I'm supposed to put some pepper on him. Of course.
Friar John says King of Dragon Pass is the only good iOS game. I don't know what that is. Should I know that?
I don't know what that is. I don't have an iPhone,
Is that a thing that I should get?
I don't know. I don't have an iOS thing. Is that Hearthstone on iOS?
I
That
don't
seems
think
like
so.
it'd be a good...
It
looks-
isn't currently. It is PC only, I think, right now.
It looks like an iOS game. I don't even mean that in like a demeaning way either.
No, I mean it's
It just looks like it's made. It's got those big, chunky buttons. Like
Yeah,
it seems
no,
like it's
like,
made for touch control.
it's actually when I loaded it up on PC for the first time, I was like, this is kind of like it's kind of ugly on PC because it's like gigantic icons and shit. Friar John says King of Dragon Pass is an iOS remake of a 1999 PC game. Is it good? Should I get it? Is it a thing I should get?
I don't know. Reginald's asking our opinion on Yoshida getting all super emotional at his panel.
Who?
The producer of Final Fantasy XI like broke down crying because of all the server issues.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
Serious?
serious.
Oh wow, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, it was like at the launch event, and they were talking about like how he's like feels like terrible about it, and like I guess he I watched a video of it. He like literally broke down and cried.
Jeez.
I felt fucking terrible, but I still couldn't fucking log into the game, so it didn't help anything.
So fuck him.
Not fuck him, but like I mean, it's cool that you care, but whatever. You really didn't expect more than 230,000 people to be playing this? Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I
Really?
mean, it seems like they aimed kind of low. No, I mean, I feel bad for him because it's clearly that's the kind of thing that's like that's out of his fucking hands, right? Like that's not something Yoshida
kind
has
of
any control over.
Like weird emotional response coming out of Japan. Like Sony executives like bowing, people getting all worked up, crying over stuff. Iwata staring at bananas on Nintendo Direct. Like, what the fuck is happening in Japan?
What's going on in Japan? Iwata's staring at bananas again. Somebody help!
Reggie.
B-Boy says,
Andy.
B-Boy says, I wanted to hug Yoshida because he knows this makes Japanese gaming look. He knows that Japan doesn't have a lot of hits rolling out right now. You know, I think you're totally right. So I've talked to Yoshida a couple of times. I was lucky enough to interview him at E3 last year, and I've talked to him one other time. And what I will say, and you know, I think Square picked good putting him in charge of this game. Like he's clearly somebody who gets it. He is passionate, and he's not ignoring other markets. I think he genuinely is one of the few people at Square as a whole. I think Square in Japan, who I think he wants to make an impact, and not just in Japan. He wants to make an impact around the world. So I totally, I buy that. I buy that part of his reaction was like realizing how this makes the whole Japanese industry look, you know?
Plus, I mean, he has like my favorite Japanese developer trope about him. He's like the guy with like the dyed hair and like 50,000 fucking rings.
He's very fashionable.
Tan and yeah,
He's very fashionable.
He's like that kind of dude. Always that cracks me up. That like Japanese developer guy
Which, hey,
thing.
you know what? I will take that.
I think it's cool.
I'll take that over like some developers just a slob.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I just think it's funny. It's like the guys with like 50 ring. It's like what's his name? Former Team Ninja head.
Yeah.
Itagaki. Like that, like over the top, like cool guy thing cracks me up.
B-Boy says,
It's like the baddest dude of 1999.
B-Boy says Yoshida can't represent all of Japan, but unfortunately he's one of the people who does. Yeah, you know, it's kind of Japan's in a rough spot.
I'm glad he finally got a game to shine on, because all of his games before this were not.
What did he work on before this?
Let's see. He worked on a lot of like Monster Battle Dragon Quest games, you know. I understand he did a lot of work on Dragon Quest X as well, actually.
Interesting.
While like he was like one of the lead planners on it, while Tanaka was doing 14, pretty much. And then once they moved Tanaka off, they basically moved Yoshida off of Dragon Quest X and was like, "Fix this, please." Yeah, he's a Dragon Quest guy.
Oh my god. I'm having to add so many people to my blacklist.
Don't add me to your blacklist.
Too late.
Fuck.
Whoa.
Plus, he has a nickname, and that's kind of cool. Yoshi P. So that's
pretty cool.
It's a pretty cool nickname. I think Nintendo's gonna sue him now, so that's kind of a bummer.
Almost certain.
Because next year is the year of Yoshi, so
Whatever happened to that fucking Yoshi's Epic Yarn? Whatever happened to that? They showed that and then just like disappeared.
yeah. Please be excited.
Thanks.
I think we're disappointed to all Japanese developers now. Year of Yoshi would be fucking terrible, people. Like, let's get real here, Chad. Year of Yoshi would be garbage.
Whoa.
That's dead. That's honest truth right there.
Why are you... What's your problem with Yoshi?
I don't like baby voice Yoshi. I think that's bullshit.
I'd be fine with your Yoshi. I think that new Yoshi's Island game looks rad.
Yeah, Yoshi's fine. I just hate... I don't like new Yoshi. I like straight up dinosaur eating some shit Yoshi, not like bizarre like baby talk Yoshi that's like I'm not sure is like seems to have some sort of like mental issues. I don't know. I want Year of Waluigi. That's what we gotta get on.
Year of Waluigi is the year that I sell my Wii U.
God, Year of Waluigi would be so badass. Oh, like Year of Wario and Waluigi. Like, instead of like a Mario and Luigi game, it's like Wario and Waluigi game. RPG action. And then there'd be like a Waluigi Land U. And it'd basically be like Sneak King, but with toads instead of people and hamburgers. I don't know.
Whoa. Oh, I'm getting a lot of dudes coming after me here. Oh boy.
Look at that! Chat saying Waluigi more interesting than Yoshi. Wah wah wah.
Don't encourage this people.
Year of Wario would be pretty badass. Like there could be. I want a Wario Land game again.
I would love a real Wario Land game on Or even on 3DS.
3DS. I'd rather have it on 3DS. I'd rather have everything on 3DS from Nintendo.
It's because
be
you don't own a
honest.
Wii U.
Yeah. But I like 3DS games.
Crocbox says WarioWare plus Skyrim, which that doesn't make any goddamn sense to me, but yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Let's take something good and ruin it. It'd be like, it's like the perfect game for this generation.
Kishin suggests Year of Toad.
I don't think there's enough Toad-related games to even fill that out. Who gives a fuck about a Toad? Standing at the end of Castle Simulator to tell Mario that the princess is there.
I would play that.
You just hang out for like 20 minutes, and then you have like a 5-second like.
I want a Mario MMO. I want a Mario MMO where Toad is a class, and you basically are essentially an NPC. So like you just stand there and wait for people playing the Mario class to
It's
arrive.
like it'd be like actually that'd be kind of bad. It'd be like what's that MMO or that RPG where you run the shop?
Oh, that game's really good.
Reciteer.
Yeah. Reciteer.
Yes, Reciteer. Like play that, but in Mushroom Kingdom.
Or like the part in Dragon Quest, what is it, Dragon Quest V, where you get to play a shopkeeper for a while.
Yeah, pretty hilarious.
Reciteer's a pretty good game. It is a pretty good game. I should stream that at some point.
Yeah, it's a good game. I want like Year of Bowser, Year of Koopa Troop. You can play as like all the different like members.
Year of the Koopa Cousins.
No, well, because I want to play as
Kids.
Magic Koopa. That's mainly it. I'm a big Magic Koopa fan.
Please be excited.
Like it'd be an Atelier game, but with Magic Koopa instead of an underage girl.
Well, that's, that just loses all the magic that the
Yeah, where's the fun in that?
Atelier? Is that how it's pronounced?
Atelier?
Atelier? I don't know. I ain't French.
Neither of the people who developed it, so
So,
it works out.
I kind of want to go down into this crazy mine thing here, but I don't
Do
know
it.
if I can get out.
If it's the one I'm thinking of, there's 2 exits, so you should be fine.
Well, maybe they won't let me go into it. Yeah, it looks like I can't even. They won't even let me.
Junior McBrohan in the chat says all this Thwomp talk is reminding him that Jeff almost named Giant Bomb Thwomp.com. Is that true?
I think that was one of the things they discussed. Not as good as Polygon almost being Panda Suplex.
That's fucking horrendous. I'm glad you didn't go with that.
There's a there's a logo floating around out there somewhere.
Shut up. That's awful.
We showed it at the PAX panel where we announced the name.
Randomword.com.
It was the worst.
That's terrible.
You know what it was? Is I think the story that they told at the panel was they came up with a million names that were all terrible. They came across Polygon and were like, "Oh, that's great." And then we had to buy Polygon.com, of course.
Yeah. How much was that? Jeez, like $1 bazillion, I bet.
I don't know what, but I know that the initial offer was too much. So they tried coming up with other things again, and I think that's when Panda Suplex came up. And then
That's
they were like,
horrendous.
I think that was their realization of like, fuck, we need to just pay this amount. Like, it's too much, but we need to just pay it. Because like we don't have anything else.
Whoa, someone just linked the logo in the chat. Wow, that's terrible. Well,
Assuming that it is
really,
the logo we showed.
is it the one that really focuses on some dude's junk as he's getting suplexed by a panda?
Probably, I don't know.
Oof, that is a large bulge on that gentleman. That is inappropriate for a games website logo. Oof.
My favorite one that we didn't use was Entertainment.
That's awful.
So much terrible shit.
Yeah, that's awful. Oof.
It could have been so bad, man.
Polygon's a great name, though.
No,
it is.
Polygon's great. It worked.
Mm-hmm.
Enter game went so bad.
Although, I mean, if you think like SB Nation is a pretty terrible name for a website, but it works also.
Yeah, no, SB Nation's not great. The Verge is pretty good.
Yeah,
Like, that's an alright name.
it's all right.
I mean, all Vox Media properties have excellent names.
Yeah, I think you guys just should have kept going with Polygon at The Verge. I was a big fan of that. Just Polygon at TheVerge.com. Like, how confusing would that be to tell people as a website name?
Son of a bitch. Not you.
Voxel.com would have been great too. Yeah. Though it has like literally no sway with gamers of this generation, though.
Yeah, I think like Polygon's just a little bit more like recognizable as a term.
Yeah. Plus, Voxel and Vox Media is a little. That's a little too. It's a little too quaint for me.
Sure, yeah.
But I'm just glad it doesn't have game in the name, because that's officially the worst. That's when
Yep.
you know you have no creativity left.
Yeah, no, that was something I think they wanted to avoid for exactly that reason.
And there's nothing left either.
It's
you know?
very little. It's very difficult to come up with a name. You know what? We also had that problem when I was trying to come up with when I was at 1UP and we did the 1UP at that podcast. It took us forever to come up with that name, and that was part of the problem. Is we didn't want to have something with game in the name. We didn't want to have something like super shitty.
How come you guys didn't call it 1UP AM?
I don't know, man.
Because there was more talking than music.
Says you.
I mean, there was some music.
There probably could have been more music.
That'd have been cool. Jeff's #1 tip for naming a website: never use the word game in it. That's fair. Yeah.
Game up is. Somebody said. Zelgar.
Game Mountain.
Honestly, though, like using game in it probably isn't like for as much as people freak out about SEO these days. Like on an SEO level, it's probably not a terrible idea.
Yeah. It's just hard to stand out, I feel.
Yeah. I agree.
You should just use cocainemountain.com. I know, I'm pretty sure Jeff owns that, right? That's good. That's a good URL.
No, I think what you're remembering is he owns a mountain of cocaine.
Oh, that's it, yeah.
I get a pet.
Cocainemountain.com.
I got a pet.
If that
for
ever runs out, I'm
this-
totally gonna buy it.
I got a pet for completing this quest.
Hey, which one?
Shigo larvae. Larvae.
I didn't get that.
I don't know, it was just a random side quest.
Oh, I didn't do any of those.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That would be the issue you're running into, I think.
Yeah. No, I don't need a website. I have nothing to post on the internet that can't fit on Twitter.
Fighting some moon guy as part of a fate.
Yeah, that's a cool fate. That's a fun fate. I just thought that was a funny idea. Just like have like 25 people beating the shit out of some one guy.
That's what's happening right now.
Yeah. Oh. It's like Cocaine Mountain was a Ryan Davis registered website.
Alright.
Yeah. I heard I need to watch the PAX panel that Giant Bomb did, but I guess there was like a huge old standing ovation, like a whole thing. They like chanted his name and everything.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
I heard it was a pretty incredible panel in general. I wish I could have been there, but that line, man.
Oh, I'm sure it was brutal.
Yeah,
Trying.
that's one of the craziest lines at PAX.
Is it really?